so that could be good.
That's exactly right. As well, Made with Love, Delectable Edibles is here. We're doing a double dose of delicious cooking as well. We're going to find out actually right now what we have in store from them.
All right.
Hey everybody, today on Midday we are going to do something with all of those pounds and pounds of leftovers that you got hanging out in your fridge. So if you had a big turkey dinner and you'd like something to do with it, tune in and we'll show you how to make a great pot of really heartwarming soup.
Sounds good, you guys. Look forward to that. Of course, you and I don't have leftovers because you're in Vancouver.
That's right.
And
my mom has all the leftovers.
Yes.
Or I guess my fiance's mom has all the leftovers.
Yes.
So.
That's the one thing, if you do not cook Christmas dinner, you usually don't reap the rewards of the leftovers.
And we couldn't take it back. Usually when we drive home, we get a little gift bag of food to take back, and instead we were flying, so that didn't work.
That's right. Well, maybe Alexander and Colin will have something for us at the end of the show. And finally, as well, we have Gord Stewart coming from the Big Little Science Centre to take part in a few science experiments.
Good stuff.
So, yeah.
All right.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get going with Midday. Stay with us. And welcome back. We're joined by Alexander and Colin Proctor from Made with Love, Delectable Edibles. How are you guys doing?
Great.
How was Christmas for you?
Susan.
Really good.
Good. You guys have 4 kids, so of course it was a busy household at their house, but I heard actually, before we get into the cooking segment, that you guys had a bit of a breakout of a couple of dogs having a skirmish.
Oh man,
What happened?
I don't know what happened, but we were all sitting around the table and the 2 dogs went at it and everything just stopped.
And blood was spilled.
Yeah,
like this wasn't a
exactly,
small thing. Like it turned into a bit of a bloodbath. I mean, not seriously, right? The dogs are okay.
Yeah, the dogs are fine.
Okay,
My
good.
mom has a whack of animals. Like we're talking dozens of animals. I've lost track at this point. So, you know, she brought a handful of dogs and 2 of them got into it. And yeah, there was pretty big chaos after Christmas dinner. It was exciting. Something fun.
Are the dogs okay now? I guess that's what we need to know.
They're good.
They're
Yeah.
good. Okay, good. Good.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about leftovers because, of course, when you have all of your family over for dinner, you've got tons of stuff left over, you've got to find good things to do. And soup is a good leftover choice for turkey, isn't it? Yes.
It's also a great leftover choice for, you know, making sure you're getting healthy and not too fattening food over the holidays.
Absolutely. I can feel that this pot is warm, so we've obviously gotten things started here. What is our first plan? We're going to cut up all the vegetables.
So we're going to cut up the things that haven't been cooked already because we're going to try and incorporate as much as we can leftovers into this soup. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to chop up an onion.
Most of this soup is actually using up the leftover turkey, the leftover gravy, the leftover veggies that you've got little bits and pieces sitting in the fridge. And most people don't realize that the best pots of soup are actually made from whatever's left over in your fridge.
Oh, I agree.
More than starting from scratch.
Tell me this, why is it that leftover food tastes better oftentimes than the day it was cooked?
Yeah, a lot of things is about the seasonings that you've put in it, having time to marinate and really kind of imbue their flavors into things.
Yes.
If you throw in a handful of dried thyme just right now, what you're going to get is a little bit of thyme flavor. But if it sits for 24 hours and really kind of has the
Soaks.
chance to soak in with the rest of the food, you're going to get that intense flavor of thyme really imbued through.
So that's the idea of a good leftover soup too, is that you've got the turkey's been sitting for a few days or one day and you're adding the vegetables. So what would you say then, Alexander, in terms of letting the soup cook for? Should it be a full day like a stew to give it that time to...
I usually get my soups going kind of mid-morning when I feel like thinking about them. And then I will cook them through and boil them and get them kind of ready to go. And then maybe just chuck them in my slow cooker to just slowly simmer and keep warm for the day.
Colin, are your eyes getting, do you want to have a cry?
No.
Sure?
And you know, I'm kind of the opposite in my approach to soups. And my approach is pretty much put everything in a pan and saute it and add some liquid on top and let it get soft and serve it. And
Yes.
that works really well too.
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, people think of cooking as a really, really difficult chore, but it isn't.
It doesn't have to be.
Do you see what Colin's doing with the onion here?
Yeah.
He's getting
Making a
some
mess.
really nice cross-hatching.
No, but he is. And is this a better way to get the liquids out of the onion, or...
Just an easy way to kind of
And
do your
pick some
whole
chops.
onion and get some
You
nice
basically
dice going.
cross-cut it and then slice it. And again, I haven't done a very good job, I think.
So when you guys met, was one of you more into cooking than the other? I mean, how did this all come together? It's rare that you meet people who are married, who own a company, and you both love to cook. Was one of you more?
do everything together all the time.
Yeah. How does that work?
We both worked as cooks professionally.
Okay.
But we weren't actually doing that when we met.
No, we weren't. It was just, I think, one of our shared focuses in life. We
Sure.
both enjoyed kind of bringing together flavors and getting things exciting. So it was just a natural extension of what we like to have fun doing.
Before we go to break, because we have to take a quick break, let's talk about these noodles over here. Are we putting those into the soup?
We
Because they look
are.
like-
Well, these are going to go in at the very end. This is actually some noodles that are produced locally in Vernon. So really kind of cool way to bring in something. I love the fact that we have some dried pastas that are made local in, you know, our region.
Now, could you find that in a grocery store? Or is that something you have to go to Vernon
Cooper's
for?
Foods.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
good
where
to
we
know.
got it. You can get all of our products at Cooper's Foods as well.
Yes.
They're great at supporting a lot of local business.
Which is excellent.
Yeah.
Which is excellent.
Fabulous.
Okay, so any last little tips and tricks before we head to break? We'll come back and pick up. We're going to throw some oil in.
Yeah, we're going to throw some oil in and get those onions in the pot and just start to caramelize them.
Okay.
Let them cook a little bit slowly and get some really nice brown flavors. Give them a stir through. And then when you guys are gone, we're going to add the carrots in there. And once the onions and the carrots are just kind of browned, we're going to add some water and start to simmer that before we put in the leftovers.
Excellent. Let's take a good look at that pot there. Simmering away. Give it a little stir. Okay, we'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll carry on with our soup making and see how it all turns out at the end. We'll be back in a few minutes.
What if you had the power to change the place you live in or work in for the better?
Say yes to local. You should really know what you're eating.
Support a living wage.
Buy ethical.
Be environmentally friendly.
Did you know that if we all put our dollars into locally owned businesses, we would have 7 times the impact on our community as dollars spent in national chains? Every dollar we spend at home ensures that we stay open for business.
It's your best investment.
Buy local.
And decor. There are handbags and hats and luxurious baths, scarves, antiques, notebooks, cowhides, crows, placemats. It's funky, it's fabulous, eclectic, it's true. But no matter your taste, we've got something for you.
Frou Frou Monkey, 263 Victoria Street.
And welcome back. We're still cooking our turkey soup here. Just started putting in the onions and the carrots, and we're going to add a few other vegetables now.
And I've got a good couple of cuts of leftover turkey. And I'm just going to kind of chop through those loosely. And if there's a little bit of stuffing in there, no worries.
That
It's
just would
gonna
add
give
to the
us
flavor.
Yeah, a little bit more flavor and really kind of thicken up the soup. Don't chop the bones in.
That's not.
If you are really on it, Christmas Day when you're cooking your veggies, every time you drain a veggie, drain it into a soup pot. And then at the end of Christmas, take all of your turkey bones, sort of carcass, toss them in the soup pot with all of those veggie waters, you know, whether it's Brussels sprouts or turnips or whatever you've been cooking. And then boil that down for most of a day. You'll get a beautiful rich bone and veggie stock. Now, we're doing the cheater method, which is just a little bit easier. So we've thrown in some onions and carrots, and then we're going to toss in this chopped up turkey. We'll throw a bit on the stove just to make it look good. And then over here, I've got all of our leftover veg. Now, for turkey dinner, we had some Brussels and some squash
So you're just
and
gonna
some
throw it
mashed
right back
potatoes
in, right in.
and some peas. And really, if you had parsnips or turnips or whatever, a little bit of everything goes in there, and it's awesome. So the Brussels, I'm going to give just a little bit of a cut. So we get a nice kind of chunks for our soup, not whole Brussels. And they're slippery. Watch your fingers on this one.
Watch your fingers on that cleaver of a knife. Look at that. You guys often use those when you're Cooking?
These are
I would
actually...
never. I would kill myself with one of those. I would chop off my finger. I'm sure.
Everybody in our life is loving the fact that we have a cooking show. So, yeah, I got this whole set of cutting board and knives.
Oh, really?
From Norma, and she said, "Oh, this is to use on your show."
Well, they're impressive knives, and
they're
for people
here.
who know how to use them, then they should. But for people like me, stick to the smaller knives. That's what I say.
So
they're beautiful, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all kind of done up together there. So let's put in some water, and we're just going to fill up enough to give us a nice kind of good pot of broth.
Yes.
And stir that all in.
I'm going to start squeezing some lime juice in.
Oh, delicious.
Really important in our cooking to balance salt and sweet, sour, and kind of pungent flavors.
Right.
And then, of course, a little bit of fat always makes something taste yummy. Like, those are the flavors that our tongues are looking for.
That's right.
So then I've got the peas and the potatoes. These are just mashed potatoes, so they're going to kind of break up in there. And some leftover peas.
And how did the potatoes
and some
do in the
leftover
soup?
chunks of squash.
Does that just give it a little bit of texture?
Well, it'll actually, some of them, if you haven't mashed them too much, they'll still be little kind of chunks of potato. Most of it is just going to kind of thicken it up like you were doing a potato leek soup, that sort of thing.
Right.
So we got that going. I'm going to reach in here and find a little cloth for my hands.
Absolutely.
And it's already starting to look like soup, guys.
It
And we've been
smells
at this
good.
for 5 minutes.
The lime is what makes it smell so yummy. It's that little unexpected.
Yeah.
So the parsley goes on a little bit later. It goes in.
It generally goes in at the end as a garnish.
And then as a rule, basically, we'd let this sit for, what, 6 to 8 hours if we could? Would that be about right?
No, you can boil it for an hour and serve it for dinner.
Really?
No
Basically,
worries.
especially with the pasta and that sort of thing that we're going to add, you don't... I'm just going to crank the heat now so we can bring it
Put
to
it
a
up
boil.
to max.
Okay.
And
And
then,
we're going to throw in some garden curry and country onion spice blends, which
Right.
Colin's got over there.
Excellent.
Because we haven't boiled down all our veggie juices and our broth, we're going to need a little bit of punch-up flavor in this guy. And I find a combo of the country onion, which has all the really nice poultry sort of flavor spices, and then a little bit of the garden curry to give it that nice golden broth color that we're looking at for our chicken or turkey soup.
Delicious.
Is fabulous. So we're going to stir that all up together and get it boiling. And then once it boils, we're just going to toss in the parsley and the egg noodles. Just a handful because people like chicken noodle or turkey noodle soup.
Well, let's take a quick break, you guys. We're going to let you finish this up, and we're going to come back at the end of the show and take a look and see how it all turned out.
Sounds
Does that
good.
sound good? All right. Thank you very much, you guys. We'll be back in just a minute. Gord from the Big Little Science Center is here. Stay with us. Quick look now at the inquiry board. Here's how to reach us in the newsroom, 851-3203, or by email at sedgel@cfjctv.com. And we'd love to see your weather pictures. If you've taken some great pictures, you've been outside over Christmas and heading into New Year's, we'd love to see them. Lots of beautiful shots out there to be had. You can send them into weather@cfjctv.com. And we'll take a look now at the one-day weather forecast beginning in the Caribou. We're looking for sunshine tomorrow with highs of -4. In the North Thompson, we can expect again tomorrow some nice sunshine with -4 for a high. The Nicola Valley is well below 0. Cloudy skies tomorrow with highs of -1. And in Sun Peaks, we're looking for -2 tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies. And for the Shuswap, again, -1 tomorrow with clouds. And for Kamloops, here's our 5-day or one-day forecast. Overnight tonight, dipping down to -3. Tomorrow, we'll warm up to just 0, and it's going to get colder for Thursday and Friday. Keep that in mind. We'll see mainly cloudy skies for tomorrow. And as we take a look now at this final soup that's being made, we've got the noodles in there now. We put in some parsley, or we're about to.
Yeah,
it smells delicious.
Some parsley, a good couple handfuls of noodles, a good couple handfuls of parsley, and then what you get is this thick, wonderful turkey stew. Now, if you want a little bit thinner, just add a little bit more water, a little bit more spice blend, and that's literally all it takes. So tossing your leftovers there into a great big pot and getting something fabulous.
And that's going to be a good dinner for a couple of nights, probably. Unless you have 4 children and it's just one night. You guys, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to both of you.
Merry Christmas
And
to you.
Happy New Year. And we'll see you back here actually on Friday, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday we'll give you something great for New Year's.
Oh, that sounds good. Great. All right, it is time to say goodbye. Have a great afternoon, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye for now.